what could we possibly do in order to merit that good judgment on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur? So, in the Sefer Shari Tshuva, he says that there's an idea he has that he calls it a Pesach Tikva Nechbad Me'od, a glorious ray of hope. Because we have a glorious ray of hope going into these days of judgment. And the Shari Tshuva says, he begins by quoting the Talmud. The Talmud says, Kol ha'mavir al midosav ma'avir lo al kol pisha'av. One who is willing to overlook the wrongs that have been done to him, HaKadosh Baruch Hu overlooks all of his averas. Kol ha'mavir al midosav ma'avir lo al kol pisha'av. One who overlooks, Kol ha'mavir al midosav, you're willing to overlook, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is willing to mida keneged mida, measure for measure, quid pro quo. He is willing to overlook whatever misdeeds we might have had. Now, what that means is, first of all, that it can't be easy. Because if it is such a powerful result, that as a result of our doing something, because Baruch overlooks our deeds, it means it's a it's a challenge. And sometimes, when you're wronged, when somebody wrongs you, somebody takes your seat or somebody takes your parking space, there's a feeling, that's tough. That's tough. So the idea is that, I'll give you two examples. There was in the yeshiva of Slobodka, everybody's heard of famous Slobodka yeshiva, from talking about going all the way back to the First World War. So they had the Slobodka yeshiva, and in the Slobodka yeshiva, there was a boy who got engaged, and it was considered a very, very prominent shidduch, a very, very good shidduch. He got engaged to the daughter of a communal rabbi who was also a man of means. So not only he had financial support to be able to continue his Torah studies, when his father-in-law would retire or pass away, he would step into that position and he would become the Rav of the community. So this boy, Reuven, was a very, very wonderful shidduch. And there's another boy in the yeshiva, Shimon, who was insanely jealous. And he couldn't overcome his jealousy. So he went to the father-in-law, the future father-in-law, and he told him some horrific story. He made up a story about Reuven, his future son-in-law. He said, your son Reuven, you should know that he once did this, that, and the other. And when the father-in-law heard that, he immediately dissolved the shidduch. He said, no, this shidduch is not for my son. It's not for my daughter. I can't have a boy who is capable of such behavior. And he dissolved the shidduch. Shortly afterwards, World War I broke out, and the Slobodka Yeshiva disbanded. And they were separated all over Europe for about 4 or 5 years. And after World War I ended, they slowly but surely regrouped, and they came back to the Slobodka Yeshiva. When this boy Reuven came back to the Slobodka Yeshiva, he came in and he met the famous Alter MiSlobodka, the founder of the Slobodka Yeshiva, the original Rav Nosson Tzvi Finkel. And he came in after 5 years, he said, Shalom Aleichem. And they schmoozed for a while. Then the Alter of Slobodka said to him, Reuven, you remember about 5 years ago, Shimon did a horrific thing. He broke up your shidduch, he interfered, he made up a story. He feels terrible. And he wrote me a letter. And in this letter, he shows him the letter. He said, he asked me if I could intercede on his behalf and ask you to forgive him. So Reuven said, Rebbe, I forgive him. It's been a long time ago. A lot of water has gone under the bridge since then. And the Alter Slobodka said to him, no. I know it hurt then, and I assume it still hurts now. And I want to know if you have the ability to truly forgive him. So Reuven closed his eyes for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, he opened his eyes. He said, Rebbe, I've searched every chamber of my heart. I forgive him with a full heart. The Alter Slobodka said to him, I see that you're telling me the truth, which means that you are being mavir on your midos, you are willing to overlook. And the Gemara says somebody who does such a thing, he has no averas. Hashem overlooks his averas. That means right now you are a full tzaddik. You're a complete tzaddik. I want you to give me a bracha. Reuven was a little taken aback, give you a bracha. He says, I want you to give me a bracha. He says, Rebbe, it's not for me. He says, I want you to give me a bracha. So, okay, Rebbe, we can't turn him down. He says, okay, Hashem should help that you should. He says, no. Why don't you put both of your hands on my head, and I want you to give me a bracha right now. And Reuven ended up putting his hands on the Alter of Slobodka's head and giving him a bracha. That would be roughly the equivalent nowadays of one of us going to Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky and Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky asking us to put our hands on his head and give him a bracha. Could you imagine such a thing? That's the level a person reaches when he's maver on his. But it's not easy. It's not easy. Sometimes it could be somebody who has wronged us in business. It could be somebody who's interfered with our personal life and has committed really something that has aggrieved us in a big way. And therefore, if a person can get to that level and he wants some merit for Yom Hadin, for the Day of Judgment, what can I do? I know that I'm a person, I don't always necessarily daven properly, and I may not put on tefillin all the time, and my Shabbos observant may be a bit dodgy. What can I possibly do?